But by the same token, no one has also said that the Owlman has attacked them.
Right.
They've merely reported sightings of it.
Right.
So, now they've appeared in other places as well. There was a play that had an important character that was affected by a visit from the Owlman, and several other things like that. So.
Yeah.
They have appeared in popular culture a little bit. And a lot of times, because of the similarity in description, he's referred to as the Mothman's English cousin.
Gotcha.
But even that doesn't work for me, because if you go and you look at the descriptions, they're really not the same.
No.
Also, Mothman, a regular component of seeing him was people going, hey, my eyes are funky now. And they don't report that without the Owlman. So I think we're dealing with two distinct cryptids here.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure, distinct cryptids. But, and definitely, it's a strange area. And if you look at some of the pictures that I left in the show notes...
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pictures in this Animal Planet episode that I'm watching a clip of.
Cool.
Are you watching Lost Tapes, that episode? Yeah, it's available all over YouTube. Lots of stuff we do will be. Anyway, so that's what we have, at least as far as possible explanations. Now,
apparently, okay, I don't know if I'm getting this wrong or not. So it says here it's supposed to be 5 to 7 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Wingspan is supposed to be 10 feet. And eyes are supposed to be large, red, and glowing.
See, I never found any description of red eyes when yes, that's according to Lost Tapes. And I told you that Lost Tapes is...
It's not
totally...
It's not based on the actual experiences. It's kind of a what if.
Right, it's like what if with cryptids.
Yes.
Is really what it is.
That's what a lot of Lost Tapes are. What if with
whatever. Right, and that's what they were going for.
Right, and I specifically look for the red eyes because that's a thing with me.
Nothing in nature has red eye shine.
Yes, that, and do you ever notice that all of these cryptids, why is it always the red eyes? Nobody ever says, did you see the thing in the dark? It had glowing chartreuse eyes. Never glowing chartreuse eyes.
No, never.
Never glowing teal eyes. It's always red.
Okay, first of all, nobody knows what chartreuse or teal are.
Green. Chartreuse is green.
I thought chartreuse was blue.
Mother.
I was just picking colors. Anyway.
But the point is I could not find any descriptions of the Owlman that included red eyes in the description.
Fair enough.
It's all glowing eyes, but to me that makes it almost a bit more believable. Because owls' eyes do seem like they glow.
Right.
They do seem like they have an internal illumination. Sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're seeing an Owlman. This is one of those cases where it could be a big owl. The only thing that makes me say, I don't know, let's hold off for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't want to totally debunk it because this place has a strange energy. And it, like I said, it dates back centuries.
Right.
So this place is rife for that multi-layers of reality that I like to talk about. So, could something exist there? Absolutely. Do I think it's an Owlman? I'm not quite so convinced about that.
Sure.
Yeah, it could be anything from a new type of bird that nobody has discovered, or the remaking of almost either dragons or a big, what are those called? Pterodactyl dinosaurs.
And that seems like a potential explanation. I think, if anything, it's maybe just a lost species of owl, or maybe one
something like that, yeah.
Local to the region, maybe.
Sure.
But as much as, and I want to believe, I want to believe as much as Fox Mulder, but
yes, he does.
But I can't always, and this is one of those cases where there's just not enough evidence for me to go, yeah, there's an Owlman. There's something. I think people are seeing something. Even if you subtract the Doc Shields sightings, people are seeing something. But again, this is a place of power that goes back centuries.
Yeah.
Maybe people are just witnessing something on just the other side of the veil.
Sure. Absolutely. Especially in, jolly old England, because they're the original.
Well, it's like Eddie Izzard once says, he comes from England, where the history comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
So but my summary on it is, I don't know that I'm convinced that there's an Owlman. As much as I want there to be one, I'm not convinced.
Not convinced that there is one, but maybe not convinced that there isn't either.
Right. I think there's something.
I think there's an energy there, and it goes back centuries, and I think it may manifest differently to different people.
Uh-huh.
And so maybe some people are seeing an Owlman, but I think that might be colored by the fact that they're aware of these stories.
Sure.
But something is there, and I think Owlman is just one of the shapes it takes.
Right.
Cool.
Anybody else have anything else to weigh in with?
No.
I mean, it's just... I feel a little at a loss to put anything in Europe, because I feel like I don't have a very strong basis of experience. Seems like everything in the U.S. is so much newer that I don't know if it's in my imagination or not, but I feel like there's a lot overseas that I don't have a very good grasp on, because I haven't ever been someplace with that much history, if that makes any sense. So I feel like there are things, I mean, you can feel it when you go into some place that's much older than anywhere else that you have been. You feel that difference of history. You feel that different age kind of in the walls, in the experience. It's the difference of like where our house was. We lived in our house where Toast was. It was over 100 years old. You could feel that, with the exception, and then you feel the energy of where we are now. That's a newer house that was, built in the 80s, 90s. It's definitely a majorly different feel to even the whole just dwelling that you're in.
Exactly. I'm with you there, because I have friends who have talked about. Now, I have friends in Europe, and they mentioned some of that, mm-hmm. But the bigger or the better, like, I have friends who've been to like the lighthouse in St. Augustine, Florida.
Sure.
And that is really old, or at least parts of it are.
Right.
And they say you can feel that the weight of history
you
in
can
that.
Feel it. Yeah, exactly. And I think even the places here that are on the East Coast that are much older than what we have here in the Midwest, even those are 100 or a few hundred years newer than places that we're talking about in Cornwall and England and different areas over there. So that difference in age, I almost feel like there's so many levels of things that we may not even understand that can be going on there.
Right.
And that I almost don't feel comfortable even trying to fathom a guess.
Right. And if there's any truth to the fact that it's on a ley line, that, to me, suggests that there is a power to the place. But that, again, that doesn't mean it's an Owlman. An Owlman is just the shape of whatever energy is lurking there that it takes from time to time.
Sure.
But obviously it takes others because people report lights there, or people report noises there. Like, there was lots of reports of just sounds. Like, in the year 2000, there were sounds of an eagle shrieking in the yard of the church.
Right.
But nobody saw an owl anywhere. But they all swear it was coming from the churchyard.
Right.
So, whatever is there, that's just a shape it takes from time to time. That's sort of my take on it. I don't know that I buy that there's an Owlman, because I think at some point it would have to eat something big, like a dog at the very least.
Sure, absolutely.
And that you'd hear about those particular owl pellets, or you'd find them in the church itself.
Oh, sure.
So,
Or big rats. Oh, you know that. Oh, what's it called? There must be big rats.
Oh, the ROUSs.
Yes!
Princess Bride, rodents with
Yes.
unusual size. Yes.
Yes. That. You must be eating those.
Exactly. It would need to feed on something like that, and I just don't see any evidence of that, you know? So, my take on it is that I'm not sure we have Owlman, but I'm sure we have some kind of ancient energy there.
Righty then.
Krysta?
I agree that it's...
Very barky, Krysta. Very barky.
I don't bark, actually. It's a dog.
Yes, I know. It's our rather silly dog.
It's the bat.
Yeah.
It's the off-brand bat.
He does look a little baddish.
Yes, he does.
I did that on my Instagram. So I do believe that it is like some type of thing, but I don't know how it's living, because it would probably need to eat a human or something, and you would probably hear about that. Because it doesn't sound like the type of thing to go after one person most of the time. Most of the time you hear two people, or even more than that.
Right.
But only one person, more often than not, it doesn't really go after them.
Right. And it's not like we have several of these other things that we've examined and other cryptids that have a long history of sightings to back them up, right?
Right.
It just doesn't have that. And so where did it come from? Now, yeah, I mean, you have sightings that go back to the 11th century, but there's a rather long skip in there. So where was this thing hiding?
Yeah.
And so that it brings me back to my theory that there's energy there. And sometimes maybe it looks like an Owlman, but I think it's just an energy from another planet or from the ley lines themselves.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, it would have to deal with something. If there is an Owlman, or was an Owlman that we're still seeing now, it's probably from the different lines of the world. Like, it's probably, if it is or was real, it would probably be eating food, or their own food in their part.
Right, in the other plane is basically what you're saying.
Right.
So, well, that brings us to the end of our show. Now, I know we're a little short this week, but, you know, Laura's birthday, and we're recording a little later than usual. So
I'm surprised. I went through my facts fast.
But want to say goodbye. Want to say thanks to our listeners as usual.
always, we appreciate our listeners and everybody who not only listens to us, but shares their time with us in our group on Facebook and our Twitter fam. And
Thank you, babe.